Hey everyone, the disclaimer tells you how to contact me if you want to ask about customs. And also remember that my Patreon supporters got to see preview images and work in progress shots and high resolution images of the completed toy. If you want to join them, even the smallest donation will help me. The link is in the description below. Hello my friends, this is Wakeangel2K1 coming at you with another figure based off of a character from the Sonic the Hedgehog comic books. It's been a while. This is another one from the IDW comics, specifically one introduced in its first spin-off, the Tangle and Whisper miniseries. It's Mimic. Mimic. We're doing that. So, when the comic first introduced Mimic, it looked kinda low-key. Like, he just has some shape-shifting abilities, he impersonated Sonic, and was doing mischief in his name. At first I thought, oh, we're kind of doing a pseudo-Sonic thing, where, like, from the Adventures of Sonic cartoon, right? So, a Sonic clone meant to mess up his reputation. Then we got a quick glimpse of his true face, and that was freaking terrifying. I almost thought that the comic was doing a brief nod to Sonic EXE. At first, I thought that this guy was some kind of eldritch abomination, or at the very least, a shape-shifting robot kind of thing, sort of like the copy robot from Mega Man. But as in the second issue, it was revealed that not only is this guy not quite as goofy as I originally thought he was, but he's pretty much responsible for the deaths of all of Whisper's old friends. Apparently, Whisper was a member of a team, and they're all dead now, and this guy is responsible for them. And at the end of that second issue, he revealed his true form, that of a mimic octopus, which is awesome. I really like the way that they anthropomorphized him too, and that his arms and legs are 4 of the octopus limbs, and the other 4 coming out of his head like dreadlocks. That's actually a really clever way to incorporate 8 limbs onto a humanoid form. Suck it, Squidward. Oh, and by the way, Mimic is no ordinary octopus. He is specifically a mimic octopus, which is an actual thing. It's a really cool species of octopus. You see, almost all octopuses have the ability to shapeshift and change their colors. It comes from the fact that they don't have bones. But the mimic octopus takes it a step further by actually imitating the behaviors of various sea creatures. They look like venomous or otherwise dangerous sea creatures, like the flatfish, the lionfish, and even a sea snake. Basically things that other ocean dwellers will want to avoid. By impersonating these creatures, the mimic octopus is safe from predation, which, is good because octopuses are very soft and easy to eat otherwise. The mimic octopus will actually change its behavior depending on the environment around it. Like if it's swimming in open water, then it goes lionfish mode. If it's on open sandy ground, then it's a flatfish. You know what I'm getting at. So that's actually a really cool creature, and to have this shape-shifting character actually be one of these things was a really clever design decision of the makers of the comic book. So, these guys, this creative team always manages to impress me. But now it's my turn to impress you with my toy-making skills. Alright, so the base toy for Mimic is SBO. I don't use SBO to make customs very often, so, this is a nice opportunity. Although the legs would be waves. We're going to do this from the bottom up because that's basically how I actually did it. So the first thing I did with Wave's leg, if you'll notice, I cut some notches in to make that ragged pants look that he has going on. And then this is where I sliced my thumb open, if you recall my video from a few days ago where I was showing my bleeding digits to all of you. I cut her shoes into a pointier shape and then sculpted the pointy octopus feet. I like how his heels, he actually has like suction cups and bumps on his on the ends of his feet, which are similar to the suction cups that octopuses actually have on their limbs. As for the torso itself, I just painted it that darker shade of purple. Given the character's design, this wouldn't be very important, and I don't really know what it looks like anyway because it's under the cloak, but that's just this part of the figure. Now, I thought about taking SBO's hands and modifying them, but they weren't quite the right size or shape. So I decided the best option would be to just sculpt new hands entirely from scratch. Yes, I made it a little bit harder for myself and sacrificed wrist articulation, but I think it's worth it to get a hand that actually looks more creepy, like Mimic's actual fingers with the wraps that he has around his wrists. Again, it's all his skin. He's a shapeshifter. He shapeshifts his clothes onto himself. The only thing is that I made the left hand, like, I clenched the fingers up a little bit to make it look like he has a beckoning gesture. I thought that would be a little bit more expressive. And, paints it up, it has the whole thing where, like, the arm is mostly purple, but the palms are that color, that gray color. And he has that big old suction cup right in the middle of his palm. So, yeah, he has arms now. Now, the funniest part of this is the cloak. It's actually made from the dress of a Twilight Sparkle Equestria Girls mini, the same one that I used to make that Lurantis figure a long time ago. So, yes, this murderous octopus is actually using a part from a My Little Pony Equestria Girls mini, and I just find that particularly amusing. Like, don't you think that's funny? So with all that said and done, the body was actually completed before I even started making the head, because I knew for this guy it would be particularly complicated. So as a standard, I cut off SBO's big old crest and the horn on his forehead, and because these tentacles would be so big, I knew the epoxy wouldn't be able to support its own weight until it hardened, so the core is made out of aluminum foil. I bent the foil into the approximate shape that I would want them to be, just to make sure that it wouldn't impinge on the movement of the body underneath. So this actually took quite a lot of sculpting because it's relatively big. The head is very, very large and it's quite heavy. Fortunately, the figure has very large feet, and Wave's legs are pretty good at supporting weight, so he's able to stand thanks to the feet and legs that he has. But yes, this is a very, very involved build. The head itself almost looks like it could be a character, right? I mean, he has 4 things. Like, I imagine you could cut his head off and he'd still be able to crawl away. Like, I don't know where his organs are. For all we know, his entire body could just be shape-shifted for convenient land use, and it's all, like the cloak isn't even covering a torso. Maybe he doesn't have a torso at all. Maybe those 4 limbs go all the way up into his head. I mean, you can cut off an octopus's leg and it'll still grow back. Maybe all of his organs are located in his head and that's all that he is, really. I mean, I don't know. He's a shape-shifting eldritch abomination. He's practically Cthulian. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to make this guy so much. He has a very Cthulian-esque appeal. So, like, if you're any kind of Lovecraftian fan, they just look at this thing and it might tingle something inside the back of their head. Like, it's just something that looks like that. I got so caught up in describing my love of this character design that I sort of forgot to do a transition into the completed figure, so you've actually been seeing it already. But yeah, isn't this guy just such an awesome design? I always kind of like the ideas that they come up with for aquatic Mobians. They always look so unique. But then again, I guess it's just because sea creatures just aren't things that we're used to seeing, so you can put a little bit more imagination into them. So this is my first villain from the IDW comics. I thought it was going to be Dr. Starline, but, you know, Starline is awesome and everything, but this guy he had the cooler design. I really do like the IDW Sonic comic, and these guys, like, I really do like their creativity. I hope this comic lasts as long as the Archie one did. So with all that being said, thank you all for watching this video, and we'll see you next time. Wakeangel2K1 signing off.